All right, let's dive into Tesla's 2025 playbook. We're going to break down this high-stakes plan that not only outlines a massive new potential payday for Elon Musk, but more importantly, it gives us a really clear window into the company's vision for the next decade. So here's the big question at the heart of all this, one that Tesla's board had to tackle head-on. With Elon Musk's last huge compensation plan all paid out, they had this, unique problem. How in the world do you keep a founder who's already got immense wealth and is running multiple other companies completely laser-focused on Tesla? Well, their first move was to create what they call a special committee. And their whole job really was to figure out a new way to keep Musk engaged and motivated for what the company sees as its most ambitious and probably its most critical chapter yet. And this is what they came up with: the 2025 CEO Performance Award. Now, on the surface, it's a new 10-year equity plan. But here is the crucial catch. Musk gets absolutely nothing, zero, unless Tesla hits a series of frankly mind-boggling operational goals. So what are these goals exactly? What is this massive potential award actually buying for the shareholders? Well, the entire plan is tied to hitting 4 very specific, very ambitious product milestones. First up, just sheer massive scale. The plan requires Tesla to deliver a cumulative 20 million vehicles. Now, to give you an idea of how big that is, that's more than doubling every car they've ever built up to this point. This goal, it's the foundation for everything else. Second, and this is key, is the big shift to software. The plan demands 10 million vehicles with active full self-driving or FSD subscriptions. See, this isn't just about selling more cars, it's about building a huge, high-margin, recurring revenue stream. It's about turning the product into a service. Third, the vision moves way beyond just cars and into the world of robotics. The company is targeting the delivery of 1 million Tesla bots. And according to the Proxy Statement, we're not just talking about a new gadget here. This is a direct shot at redefining the future of labor itself. And finally, autonomy as a full-blown service. The goal is to get 1 million robotaxis into commercial operation. This is basically Tesla throwing down the gauntlet to the entire ride-hailing industry, aiming to use its own fleet to create a low-cost, high-margin network. Now, when you step back and look at these 4 goals, you start to see how they're all connected. That massive vehicle fleet, it's the hardware needed for the FSD subscriptions and the future robotaxi network. The FSD software, it's the brain for both the bots and the taxis. It's a vision where the hardware, the software, and the services all feed into each other. But this 2025 plan isn't just about cool new products. It's also about power and control. And that brings us to another huge proposal, one that's tied directly to Tesla's recent corporate move from Delaware to Texas. To really get what's happening here, you have to look at the timing. Just a little while after Tesla officially reincorporated in Texas, the state passed a brand new corporate law. This gave companies a powerful new tool, and let's just say Tesla's board did not waste any time putting it to use. So what did they do? They adopted a new bylaw that makes it a lot harder for shareholders to sue the board on behalf of the company. That's what's known as a derivative lawsuit. To even get in the door now, a single shareholder, or a group of them that band together, has to own at least 3% of all of Tesla's stock. And to put that 3% into perspective for you, we're talking about a stake worth roughly $30 billion. Yeah, billion with a B. That number alone makes it pretty much impossible for any small individual shareholder to make a move on their own. As you can imagine, this is controversial. This table kind of lays out the 2 sides of the argument. On one side, you have proponents arguing that the board is just building a wall around itself to avoid accountability. But the board's response is that this new rule simply focuses the company's time and money on lawsuits that are actually backed by a big chunk of shareholders, instead of frivolous claims from a tiny minority. And they make it a point to say that any group of shareholders can team up to hit that 3% mark. Okay, so aside from the big topics of CEO pay and these lawsuit rules, shareholders are also being asked to weigh in on several other really critical issues, everything from new investments to some serious ethical questions. For instance, there's one proposal on the table asking the board to authorize an investment in XAI, which is another one of Musk's companies. The idea is that it could create some powerful synergies. What's interesting here is the board's reaction. They're taking a completely neutral stance, not recommending a yes or a no. Then you've got another proposal that gets into some really tough questions about Tesla's supply chain. Shareholders are demanding a detailed report on any potential links the company might have to child labor, especially when it comes to sourcing the raw materials for batteries. So, how does the board respond? Well, they're pushing back, arguing that a special report like that just isn't necessary. They state that the ethical treatment of people is, and I'm quoting them directly here, core to Tesla's mission, and that they already have explicit policies that prohibit child labor. And to back that up, they point to a whole process they say is already in place. It starts with a strict supplier code of conduct, follows international sourcing guidelines, goes on to actively fund groups like the Fair Cobalt Alliance, and includes programs to help any children who are found working. So when you take all of this and put it together, the massive pay package, the big changes to the rules, all of these shareholder debates, what's the big picture? What's really at stake here? It really all boils down to this fundamental tension. On one hand, you're trying to empower a leader who is, let's face it, pretty unique. But on the other hand, how do you make sure there are still real checks and balances? It's this constant battle between aiming for these audacious, long-term goals and sticking to the traditional rules of how a company should be run. It's about finding that razor-thin line between incentivizing genius and concentrating way too much power in one place. Ultimately, what this proxy statement does is force shareholders, and really all of us watching, to ask a huge question. Are we looking at a brand new blueprint for how you manage and reward visionary leadership in the 21st century? Or is this just a playbook for risky consolidation of power that could set a very dangerous precedent? The answer to that is going to shape the future of Tesla and maybe a lot of other companies for years to come.